What is up guys, Jeremy here and welcome back to another tutorial. This is going to be the part 2 of the Lock Plus tutorial. Sorry about the delay, but we're going to jump right into this. Alrighty guys, now like I said, this is part 2, so if you guys haven't seen part 1, I'd recommend watching that first, just because you'll have a better understanding of what is going on. But anyways, we are at the lockplus.us website, as you guys can see right here, and it's a pretty cool website on how this all works. It's going to allow you to create your own lock screen themes and, basically switch them on the fly on your iPhone. And I just really like the way that this works. Now, to actually have access to creating these lock screen themes, you're going to have to donate at least $1. I think it's well worth the $1 considering what you can do with this, and I'll get more in depth with this as we go. But anyways, this is the main page that you guys will come to when you go to lockplus.us. Basically, it's going to allow you to design your own custom lock screen theme, and it's pretty amazing on what you can do here. It's basically like a very simple photo editing program, basically web-based, and it just works really, really good. And it has a bunch of pre-installed stuff that you can use, and it's very, very straightforward and easy to use. But we're going to go through and we're actually going to create our own lock screen theme. I'm not going to make a masterpiece. I'm not going to post this. I did obviously donate my $1 to create lock screen themes. In the future, I will be making some, and I will have those in top 10 videos or top 10 tweak videos, etc. So those will be available for download in the future. I think I can make some pretty cool stuff. But like I said, in this video, I'm just going to be going right through all the different stuff you can do with this, and I'm not going to be making anything too amazing, and I'm not going to actually upload it and save it to the website. So keep that in mind. But in the future, like I said, I probably will. But anyways, so this is the main screen here. As you can see, you have kind of like an iPhone background here, or an iPhone frame that you're going to start out with. So the first option is the background. You also do have an overlay. You have the show elements panel. You have the save theme, so it's going to allow you to save it to lockplus.us, and it's going to enable it to be downloaded from other users, which is pretty awesome. You can load the theme, and then you can also clear the theme. So if you want to start from scratch, you can go ahead and erase it with that right there. So first off, we're going to do the background. We're going to go ahead and select on that, and I'm going to choose a background that I've already created right here, and I've actually used a different Photoshop program to actually make this base background. So it's going to allow you to pick your wallpaper size. You can do the iPhone 5, the iPhone 6, or the iPhone 6 Plus, depending on what device you do have. So I'm going to do the iPhone 6 because that's what I do have. So here is my base wallpaper, and like I said, I made this in a different program. I'm sure you guys recognize this background. It's basically one of the new iOS 9 wallpapers. It's blurred, and I added my YouTube logo to it to give it kind of a nice effect. But we have our background. You can open the background. This is going to allow you to view the entire background on its own page there, and you can actually change the background blur. So we can actually blur this. If you guys have not blurred your background, you can go ahead and blur it out like that. As you guys can see, I'm using a shift and clicking on these to actually make the most drastic change possible. There's a lot of shortcuts. I believe I have them shut off because I know them mostly all by heart now. So you can change the background blur. You can open the blurred background. So if you want to view that as well, you can see that in full res on your web browser. And then we can go ahead and just click on back here, or you can just clear the background and start a different one if that's not what you want to use. So we're going to go ahead and go back, and then I'm not going to do an actual overlay on this because that's where you basically can add different images to the background and customize it that way. So we're not going to do that on video just because it's basically like adding different pieces of the background, if you know what I'm talking about. So we can go ahead and show the elements panel, and this is where it gets really cool, guys. So here are the elements. We have clock elements, weather elements, system elements, and miscellaneous elements. If I can talk, that's kind of a tongue twister a little bit. But anyways, we can go ahead and select on the clock elements, and you guys will see all the different kind of setup stuff you guys can use with Lock Plus here. It's pretty amazing. So first off, we have strings. It's going to go through strings 1, strings 2, strings 3, clock, hour, minute, seconds, PM. time of day, date, previous date, next day, day, previous day, next day, month, previous month, the next month, year. So these are all the different clock elements, obviously based around the time and date. So we can just do a one from the first strings here. Let's just do this top one because it's simple. So you added an element here. You can go ahead and click on it to select it. And here's where you get all of your options. So you can change your font size. So you can make it a bigger font or smaller font. Pretty straightforward. Like I said, shift click up to make it max. Shift click down to make it minimum. And then otherwise you can just basically click the plus or minus sign to make it bigger, or you can actually select the actual size, erase it, and then change it that way, just like so. So it's pretty straightforward on how this works. So we're going to go ahead and make this a bit smaller, and then the width here is going to determine the box window. Now when you change this width, I would recommend just basically making it max size, so 320 for a width. So what that's going to allow you to do is when you go down to alignment, you can center it, make it on the right, make it on the left. It just kind of simplifies it when you make it its max size. And like I said, to make it max size, hold shift and you can click on the plus or the minus to make it maximum size or minimum size. Pretty straightforward. You can also move the element here with this little system here. So if you want to move it in just little increments, like you know, left one, back, top, down. So as you can see, it's very small movements if you want to be very, very precise with it, but that actually kind of screwed me up here. So let's go ahead and center that back, and let's actually center the time and date. Let's move it down, and then you can change the color. This is going to allow you to change the actual color and the opacity of it. So we're going to go ahead and make this look a little bit unique. Like I said, I'm not going to make a masterpiece because I don't want to take up too much time on this video. I just want you guys to see how this works basically. So we can go ahead and select choose. As you guys can see, you have a nice RGB options and opacity. So we can deselect this element by clicking anywhere else on the background. So there you go. That's basically what it's going to look like. I think I'm going to switch it to purple. I don't know why. Let's go ahead and let's switch that to a purple maybe. Maybe turn the, I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. Let's go ahead and let's just make it a white and a semi-transparent because I think that looks pretty cool. So let's go ahead and select on choose. So that's how you change the color, and it will save your old color palettes. So previous colors that you guys have used will be on this row here. So if you are using uniform colors for anything, you can reselect the exact same color on that palette, which is pretty cool. You can also change the font. Now there's not like hundreds and hundreds of fonts, as you guys can see. There's a lot of different fonts, but it's not like too crazy. So you can customize this in terms of font pretty good. I do like that. So I mean, we could switch it to this. That's what it looks like. I'm not a big fan of that, but we'll select something different. I think you guys get the idea of the fonts here. Pretty straightforward. I don't know. Let's do something like, I guess, maybe this. That's kind of cool looking. Yeah, I can dig that. So that's our element so far. You can also change the transformations, which is going to give you skew effects. So you can change the X skew, the Y skew. You can change the rotation, and then once you're done, you can just go ahead and click on back. And then also here we can change from uppercase to uppercase, capitalized, lowercase, etc. And you can change the font weight from bold to normal, or you can select your own weight in between that by just changing this. As you guys can see, the font's getting thicker. We can turn it back down just like so. Pretty straightforward for the fonts and that element. And then you can change the prefix and suffix. You can change the shadow, which is its own whole panel here. You can really get in depth with how the shadow is going to look. You can change the blur radius of the shadow. You can change its vertical, its horizontal. You can change the color of the shadow. It gets very, very in depth as you break it down. You can actually edit the linear text color gradient, which I'm not going to do either because that's its own panel. Obviously, text can have a gradient effect, and as you guys can see, that gets pretty in depth as you go further and further into editing this element. But that's pretty much it for that element. So we can go ahead and unselect it. We can go ahead and close the clock elements. We can go into the weather elements. So as you guys can see here, we have basically the temperature and the current weather. You have temp, you have an icon, you have highs, you have lows, high and lows, city, condition. humidity, wind chill, wind, visibility, rain, dew point, feels like sun, and then the last updated. So you have a lot of different options for the weather as well. We're going to go ahead and select on the icon because I think that the icons are pretty cool. So here's our little icon. I'm actually going to make that a bit bigger. I'm not going to make it max size, but I'm going to just make it visibly a little bit bigger than what it is so you guys can see what I'm doing with it. So we're going to go ahead and increase the size. Only thing that sucks is you can't hold the plus or minus buttons here. You actually have to click them individually, so it does take a while to click it like plus or minus to make it bigger. So we'll just take that, I don't know, I guess throw it up roughly in the top middle or something like that. I guess that's kind of cool. And then you can actually change the icon. This is also very cool. So we can change the icon. Here's a bunch of different styles of icons that you can choose from. Obviously, this is just showing one weather condition for that icon style. Depending on the weather condition, like let's say this partly sunny one right here. Obviously, if it's sunny out, that cloud won't be there to be that. If you guys get what I'm saying here, it's just showing one weather condition of that theme of icon. So what should we do? I guess like that would be kind of cool. So we can move that down a bit, and then we can also change the transformations, which is going to be the skews. As you guys can see, the X skew and the Y skew, we can back out. Pretty straightforward. You can delete the item. You can change the size. I went through position. The position here's the same as the clock element. You can move it in smaller increments if you want to be very precise with it. So pretty straightforward with that. So that's the weather elements. So we can go ahead and unselect that, close that. We have system elements here. So it's going to show your phone name, your firmware, your battery, and then also you have an unlock here. So if you want to have unlock text, you can do that. And we'll unselect that actually, and we'll go to miscellaneous elements. So you can have custom text, you can add square shapes, you can add circles, you can also add applications like mail, SMS, phone, Twitter, Tweetbot, Telegram, Instagram, Pandora, Spotify, Facebook, Kick, YouTube, and WhatsApp. So basically, most of the most popular apps you can actually add to the lock screen as well. I'm not sure exactly how to change these to an icon, because if you select it, it just puts it as text, which I'm not really sure about. So I think there's a way that you could probably add a overlay to add an actual icon rather than the actual text, but that will basically act as a shortcut to that application if it is installed on your device. So that's basically how that works, and that's really about all there is to it. As you guys can see, the sky is the limit on this program. It's very customizable. It's like a very basic Photoshop or photo editing program in its own, with a bunch of really nice preset elements that you can just add on the fly and adjust to your liking. Color, opacity, size, skew, everything you can think of, the shadow, all that. It's very well put together website here. And that's going to be pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. I think you guys get the idea on how this works. It's really amazing, and there's hundreds and hundreds of themes that you guys can choose from, and it's basically kind of up to you whether you want to design your own and try to get lots of downloads with them and grow in popularity from other people. But like I said, that's me pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Again, this is part 2 of the Lock Plus review. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, definitely throw me a thumbs up. That helps me out tremendously here at the channel. And if you guys want to see more reviews like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button. This has been Jeremy, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.